Even when there is no news about John Fisher in Las Vegas, it finds its way into the news where you just sit there and wonder.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I am your host, Booney. One name. Episodes will drop Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Oakland time, Vegas time, and yes, Sacramento time. Whether you are on your way to work, driving back from work, or listening casually during the day, thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. I'm here to bring you a real fan's take, covering everything from Oakland to Sacramento to Las Vegas. This is the place for A's fans to get the latest game breakdowns, team news, and more. This is where the passion of the fans take center stage. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. And please hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. We are less than a week away from the first ever Locked On A's game show. And I can't wait. I'm going to once again revisit the set because I am that excited about it. And I'm going to give you some sample questions that our contestants will see as well. That's later. The A's avoided arbitration with Seth Brown and signed him to a one-year deal. What does that mean? And do we like the move? That's in about 10 to 15 minutes. First, guess what is making news again? You got it. John Fisher and the move to Las Vegas. With the Devil Rays plans in limbo regarding where they will be playing after next year, it has a lot of people speculating the future of the A's move to Las Vegas. Are the Rays going to swoop in and take the A's spot? The speculation had me thinking, if the A's are not going to stay in Oakland, which they're not, then who really cares? Obviously, there is a good chunk of former A's fans that do care. Coming up next. This episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I swore I was not going to talk about John Fisher or the move to Vegas again, but it's just hard not to, especially considering the A's offseason where they do absolutely zero. I mean, I have to dedicate a full segment to Seth Brown, where other major league franchises are having a full off season, potential free agent signings, potential trades. The A's are just silent in any type of baseball move. But what isn't silent is John Fisher and Vegas. Even when they don't make news, they make news. So here's what's going on. There are issues regarding the Tampa Bay Devil Rays stadium situation after next year. And the speculation is that they will go to Vegas instead of the A's. For as ridiculous as that sounds, my take on that is simply, if the A's are not coming back to Oakland, then I don't care. What does it matter? I have accepted the fact that they are leaving Oakland. That is done. I have accepted the fact that they are not coming back to Oakland. I have accepted the fact that John Fisher can care less about baseball and tries to get over on just about everybody he comes into contact with. I get that. I have accepted the fact that the world we live in is an unfair one, greedy one, and filled with individuals like John Fisher on different scales. Am I happy about the move? No. Did I see it coming for a very long time? Yes. Is there anything I can do about it? No. Is John Fisher going to dictate what I do regarding baseball next year through his actions? Absolutely not. And I have made the decision to be the same A's fan I always have. Whether they end up in Vegas or end up in Sacramento is not going to change my life. And I honestly don't care. The only worry I have is if the A's decided to rebrand. And what I mean by that is, for example, when the Expos went to Washington and became the Washington Nationals, that is something I do have a concern about. I doubt it will happen, but what is one thing we know for certain regarding the A's? That's right. We don't know. How the former Oakland A's fan base continues to pay so much attention to this and comment vigorously regard to hoping the move does not happen has just become redundant. And wonder if the Oakland fans truly hate John Fisher, because it seems like right now they are absolutely infatuated with John Fisher because they talk about John Fisher 24/7. Who cares? They are not coming back to Oakland. It sucks for our concerns constantly to be about a move that is still over 3 years away at the minimum is nutty. The Vegas fans at this point doesn't really care. And the only reason you even hear the Vegas fans chirping whatsoever or talking about it or it constantly in the news is because the Oakland fan base just won't leave it alone. They hate the A's. They hate Sacramento. If you have anything to do with the A's, you're a traitor. I've kind of went on this rant already the other day. I'm not going to repeat it. But point being is how this constantly draws daily attention and how the and how the Oakland fans constantly keep this alive is beyond me. Because as I was looking at the news today, which was, again, simply speculation and something to talk about with no real basis behind it, I don't care if they go to Vegas or they don't go to Vegas. I can care less. I've made it clear. I hope Vegas gets I hope I hope Vegas gets an expansion team. I hope the A's stay in Sacramento, but they're not coming back to Oakland. So other than that, I can really care less. At the end of the day, John Fisher is still going to be a billionaire. The A's are still going to be fighting for a wild card spot. And hopefully they still have an exciting brand of baseball they put on the field. But the daily thought of whether Vegas fails or succeeds, don't care. I don't care. What I do know, what I do care about, is that they're going to be fielding a hell of a team next year. And if you choose not to be an Oakland fan, hey, I get it. Like my man Kevin Peters said when I had him on the show, he's angry about it. He understands it. The community got screwed. And if he chooses to root for the A's, he's going to root for them passively. Makes sense. 100% agree with that take. And if one gives an opinion whether they think Vegas is going to happen or not going to happen based on facts that have been released, good for you. That's great. I've had my takes as well that have gone both ways. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I really don't. What I do care about is Seth Brown signing a 1-year deal. He's coming back to the A's up next. Today's episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. When I personally look at a sports book, there are two things that are most important to me. Is it easy to deposit? And more importantly, is it easy to withdraw? FanDuel checks both boxes for me. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Brownie will be back in Oakland next year. I am mixed on the Seth Brown signing. A part of me wants the A's to go young, but with that being said, as you know, I am very biased towards the young guys being drafted and want Nick Kurtz to start at first base for 162 games and hit 45 jacks and get AL Rookie of the Year and MVP. Probably not going to happen, but that's what I want. The other part of me is that Brownie is a great team guy and a solid left-handed bat that can play multiple positions. Now, what does Brown's role look like for 2025? With Tyler Soderstrom likely stepping in as the everyday first baseman, Brown's opportunities in the infield are going to be lessened. But his ability to rotate between the outfield and infield still makes him an asset. Here's a scenario to watch for, which actually Jason Burke wrote in his article today for Inside the A's that I didn't think of before, was a possible platoon with him and Miguel Andújar in left field. Brown's bat plays well against right-handed pitching, while Andújar handles lefties better. That's a combination that gives A's the flexibility at the plate and in the field. With that being said, for me, if Andújar is healthy, I want him in the lineup every single day. I do not want to see Andújar platoon if he is healthy. But we all know Andújar's history with regard to injuries. So as far as that, I do like the Brown signing. But at the same time, are we just not going to look into signing a free agent outfielder or making a trade for one? Is that it? We've been pretty quiet so far in the offseason. It's not a surprise. Most teams have been all just rumors and speculation. So there hasn't been a lot of moves with that being said. But with the A's, there's been no rumors, no speculation, no nothing. Just us coming up with scenarios that may make sense. Let's not forget Brown's history with the A's. Since his MLB debut in 2019, he's been steady. He's been solid. He hasn't been spectacular. His best season came in 2022. He hit 25 bombs, drove in 73. And if he could come anywhere close to that, that's a hell of a contribution. And that power potential is a big reason why they signed Brown. Seth Brown is a glue guy, right? And while Brown might not be a centerpiece, he's the type of player that helps hold things together. He's a solid dude in the clubhouse. He's a steady presence. Rebuilding teams need consistency, leadership, and versatility. Brown checks all those boxes. He's also the kind of player who can mentor the younger guys like a Sodi or a Gelof and helping them adjust to the big leagues. And as the A's make the transition to Sacramento, having familiar faces like Brown on the roster gives fans something to cheer for while the organization works to rebuild for the future. The Seth Brown signing might not grab national headlines, but for the A's, it's smart. It's low risk. Move that makes a lot of sense. Brown brings power, flexibility, and experience to a team that's still finding its way. As the A's look to stay competitive in 2025, guys like Seth Brown will be crucial. He's a piece of the puzzle that could help bridge the gap to a brighter future. What is a brighter future is Tuesday. First ever Locked On A's game show. Up next, I'm heading back to the set. We're going to take a look at some questions. See if you could answer them. Welcome back and welcome to the studio of the Locked On A's game show. I went through this the other night a bit. I want to go through it again because I'm that excited about it. On your right, you have the categories. Long ball, MVP, Billy Ball, All-Stars, Gold Glove, Free Agents, 1989, and characters. Each contestant is going to receive 3 questions from each category. Long ball has to do with Oakland A's historic home runs. And why don't we just take a sample of what our contestants will see and see how you guys can answer the questions. Some of them are going to be very, very easy. Some of them are a little bit more challenging. Let's see how you do and take one question from each category. The A's blew an 11-0 lead, but this A's walk-off home run in the 9th lifts Oakland to a 12-11 win over Kansas City for its record-setting 20th straight victory. Give you a second. This one should be on the easy side. Scott Hatterberg. You got it. MVP is going to have to do with Oakland Athletics that were MVPs, or maybe that got traded to another team or signed by another team that were MVPs. For example, this Oakland Athletic won the American League MVP in 1990. If you said Ricky Henderson, you are correct. Billy Ball has to do with Oakland A's from 1980 to 1982 who played for Billy Martin. He won a World Series with the Dodgers before starting at second base for Billy Martin in 1982. If you said Davey Lopes, you are right. All-Stars. Self-explanatory, Oakland A's who participated in the All-Star game or in the festivities surrounding the All-Star game. Mark McGwire won his only home run derby for the A's in 1992 at this National League ballpark. A little harder. If you said Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, you are correct. Gold Glove. Again, self-explanatory. Oakland A's who were known for their defensive prowess. Known for his big left-handed bat, he won his only Gold Glove for the A's in 2018? If you said Matt Olson, you were right. Free agents. We're talking about either free agent signings for the A's or players who left the A's for free agency. This left-hander signed a 2-year, $22 million deal in 2014, the largest contract ever given to an athletic starting pitcher. Give you a second. If you said Scott Kazmir, you are correct. 1989 had to do with the 89 World Series. Anything to do with that team, anything to do with the series, anything to do with who they played, anything to do with 1989. The A's faced off against the San Francisco Giants in the 1989 World Series. Who did the Giants beat in the NLCS? This one should be on the simpler side. If you said Chicago Cubs, you got it. Characters of the game. Who are some of the most famous characters that were around the A's, played for the A's, etc.? This one's going to be fairly simple, and it won't be this simple for our contestants. Believe me, you. These two A's were nicknamed the Brash Brothers. Should have this one. Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco. Pretty simple. Again, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Let's see who takes home the first Locked On A's Trivia Championship. If you want to sign up as a future contestant, email me, lockedonathletics@gmail.com, or direct message me on Twitter or X at LockedOnA's. 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Tuesday. See you then. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the off season. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. I will see you tomorrow.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.